At Chipotle, we also have a playlist. Guacamole as it's being hand-mashed. The sizzle of adobo chicken on the grill. The chopping of onions and cilantro. We call our playlist Real. Order now. Chipotle. For real.
Rated T for Teen.
Each year, thousands of adults lose their shred. It's an epidemic simply known as shred loss. But it doesn't have to be this way. Because rekindling your shred is as easy as playing the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. With new parks, cross-platform multiplayer, and sick new game modes, we can put an end to shred loss everywhere. Get the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 and show the world that the shred's not dead. Get Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 available now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to the facility after a much-needed vacation. It is good to see y'all. It's good to be seen. The quarterback is 10 as ever. Jayden Daniels back in the building. Chase, besides the morning coffee every day, how's last month been?
It's great. It's great. A lot of family time. Went to Colorado for like 10 days. We celebrated an 11-year anniversary with my wife. We celebrated a 4-year birthday with my daughter Ashton. We had family time. We had my sister.
I love it.
It went fast, but I'm very glad.
Oh, did it?
Well, it felt slow.
Because you was working every day.
You look rejuvenated, brother.
He does. James Jones, you look like you haven't seen a razor in a week.
Do you see me?
Scrub.
Look at that, a little scrub. Acho right behind me, though.
That's what we call a man beard.
Right behind me.
Y'all on vacation too.
We took last week off, and we are so glad to be here. A lot to get to. Hopefully you laugh. Hopefully you smile. Hopefully you're entertained on this morning. Hey, let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts coming off a Super Bowl win, also named Super Bowl MVP. But get this, NFL scouts, executives, coaches, they rank the top 10 quarterbacks in the league heading into the season. And if you'll notice, Jalen Hurts' name is not at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, nor 8. He's all the way down there at the 9th best quarterback. Again, we're about 2 weeks away from the first preseason game, and Jalen Hurts, after winning a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, is still finding himself disrespected at 9th, the 9th best quarterback on the list. I can't make sense of it. It's the facility. It's a beautiful morning. Y'all could be watching any show. You're hanging here with us. James Jones, you have an issue with Hurts' 9 ranking.
Yeah, looking at that right there, that's awful.
Oh.
And you can think whatever you want to think about Jalen Hurts, but there should never be a list to where Justin Herbert is in front of Jalen Hurts. I don't really care about what type of talent and all that you're talking about. And then Jayden Daniels is going to be a superstar in this league. I truly believe that. But I cannot put him in front of Jalen Hurts, who's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's had 1 good year. Do I think at the end of this, when it's all said and done, could he possibly, baby? Yes, absolutely. But right now, as we're talking right now, after 1 year, no. And then I see Justin Herbert at 7, who hasn't won a playoff game. This boy been to more Super Bowls than you won playoff games. And we're talking about Justin Herbert's a better quarterback to him. I cannot do that. I think this is disrespectful to Jalen Hurts right here. This is an awful list when you have Jalen Hurts at 9 and those 2 dudes in front of him.
So you view it, because I keep going back to Jalen Hurts 9, obviously top 10 quarterback. I think he should be closer to the 6, 7 spot, personally. So I don't know if it's super disrespectful to have him at 9, because what this list is doing, everyone above him is, I believe, throwing the football more physically talented than him.
Sure.
And so I think that these old school NFL execs, coaches, and scouts, and I tend to be that way, they look at top 10 quarterbacks, James Jones, as how can you throw the football? When the team needs you to make plays with your arm, can you? And Jalen Hurts is more of a new age quarterback where he's willing his team to win. He might do it with his legs. Look, he had 14 rushing touchdowns last year. Now, 11 of them were 1-yard touchdown runs. Mm-hmm. But he gets into the end zone. He had 32 total touchdowns. Now, these same scouts and executives and coaches are saying, hey, he only threw for 2,900 yards.
Yeah.
In a whole season. He only threw for 18 touchdowns. Now, only 5 interceptions. So a lot of these people within the league, and you guys know better than I do, right? They feel like they're ranking a quarterback based on maybe old school metrics.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. You're probably ranking them as like, hey, look at what he's accomplished. Look at what he's done. Look at what he's done as a leader of that football team. And they've been to 2 Super Bowls. They've won a Super Bowl. They took it away. They took a 3-peat away from the Kansas City Chiefs. And so for me, I don't think it's like crazy disrespectful to have him at 9. Do I think he needs to be moved up a spot or two? Yeah. But then you get into it, well, what about Goff, who's been to a Super Bowl? What about, and so I can see that. The crazy thing to me, and I don't want to derail this conversation, is Baker Mayfield's 10. He made it on the top.
But my only thing, too, though, because if that was true, then
I'm guessing that has to be,
but
right?
I'm just saying, if that was true, he wouldn't even be in the top 10. Because he doesn't throw the ball as good as Aaron Rodgers, as old as Aaron Rodgers is. He don't throw the ball as good as a lot of them dudes. What he does do is win and get to Super Bowls. However it looks, he wins and gets the Super Bowl. And when you got dudes like Justin Herbert in front of him who hasn't won a playoff game, that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? However you want the quarterback to look.
If it's based on how well you throw the football, I get that. But the problem is this list isn't a survey of the top 10 throwers of the football at the quarterback. It's the top 10 quarterback. So to me, it's absolutely asinine that Jalen Hurts isn't in the top 5, and I would suggest at minimum, bare minimum, top 6. And for me, it's very simple. Jalen Hurts, he wins at a high clip, and I understand that winning and losing, you might suggest, isn't necessarily a quarterback stat, but yes, the Eagles are a good team. There have been a lot of good teams. The Niners in 23 were a really good team. Brock Purdy and that Niners team couldn't get it done. They lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, year 24. The Baltimore Ravens in 2023 were a really good team. Number 1 defense in all of football. Lamar Jackson couldn't get it done at home in the AFC Championship game, losing to the Chiefs. So you can't just tell me, well, Jalen Hurts has such a good team. There have been a lot of good teams that fall short and been a lot of good teams where the quarterback isn't Super Bowl MVP. Ask Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp how that went when Matthew Stafford finally won. For me, I got Jalen Hurts at 5. And it's simple. And I want to show y'all just a simple reason as to why and metric as to why. Jalen Hurts, regular season All-Pro, he's checked that off. Super Bowl, he's checked that off. Super Bowl MVP, he's checked that off. Disregard Pat, disregard Lamar, disregard Josh Allen. Assume they're all better than Jalen Hurts. Fine, they have something Hurts doesn't have, a regular season MVP. But Jayden Daniels, you ain't got no All-Pros. You ain't got no Super Bowl appearances. You definitely ain't got no Super Bowl MVPs. Justin Herbert, just stop. You have nothing that Jalen Hurts has except a 6'5" stature. Jared Goff, at least you've been to a Super Bowl, but you ain't got no All-Pros. You have no Super Bowl win nor Super Bowl MVP. And Joe Burrow, you don't got an All-Pro, a regular season MVP, a Super Bowl win, or a Super Bowl MVP. So how can you list any of these quarterbacks ahead of Jalen Hurts? If you're just talking about who throws the ball best from the pocket, different conversation, a conversation I can concede to. But if you're talking about who's the best quarterback, Jalen Hurts is better than all of those quarterbacks. If you want to suggest Joe Burrow, I will listen to that conversation, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, look, at this desk, I've probably been the biggest, what would you say, against Jalen?
Critic. I don't like that.
Ain't a hater, critic.
I'll say
because I was raised in sort of the old school NFL offenses where Sean Payton, Drew Brees, you got to throw the ball to win, Andy Reid, stuff like this. And so when you rank quarterbacks, you're like, hey, man, this is a guy I want to start my team with because he can, when most games come down to it in 2 minutes, he can lead my team back to victory because I believe in his arm, not only his head, his mental, getting in and out of the right place. We see that. And you made the point, and I think it was good, and it was sort of one of my counterpoints, but I concede to you is, Jalen Hurts is surrounded by a lot of superstars. There have been a lot of teams that have been placed around him, and Howie Roseman deserves a lot of credit for that. But for me, I keep going back to the Eagles' average margin of victory. Okay, they're blowing people out. After they started 2-2, their average margin of victory when they over their final 16 victories, 15.1 points per game. Jalen Hurts never needed to throw the football, and I think you saw a clear and concise plan from old offensive coordinator Kellen Moore after they started 2-2. I don't have the stats up here. I don't have this graphic because it's my first day back. I don't have all that stuff, right? I'm just going to talk to you at home. They averaged 40 passing attempts a game in the first 4 games, and they were 2-2. Clear and concise plan. Let's go to running the football with Saquon Barkley, running the football with Jalen Hurts, running more RPO stuff. They averaged, I think, over their final 16 victories, 23 to 24 pass attempts a game. So I can't say, hey, he should be higher than that when you're only affecting the game 24 to 25 times with your arm.
Yeah. Fair. And I said hater because I've been a hater up here with you. I have.
Critic is better.
When we watch Jalen Hurts, critic, hater, it's all the same to me. When we watch Jalen Hurts, that's what jumped off on the screen. You're not really winning the games for your team. But a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP
you have
changed all that.
Yeah.
You can't keep bumping people in front of him now, and this man has beat the baddest man in the world in Patty, outplayed him, and won the Super Bowl. So that changed everything for me. So now these Herberts and Jayden Daniels after 1 year, and like you say, you can even talk about the Joe Burrows. You can't just throw them in front of him now after what he's done. You just can't do that.
Well, from the NFL to the NBA, LeBron James seen at Lakers Summer League just recently at a game on Saturday, and there are obvious questions about his future in L.A., including report that 4 teams have contacted his agent, Rich Paul, about interest in a trade. LeBron James was asked if he wanted to discuss his future, and he said, quote, "I ain't got nothing to talk about." James Jones, LeBron James saying, "I ain't got nothing to talk about." Should this be Bron's last year with the Lakers?
Nothing, Bron. You ain't got nothing to say. Yes, it should be his last year. I mean, Bron, what, he going to play 2 more, I would say? You know what I mean? So if I'm the Lakers, I'm building around Luka. I traded for Luka to bring Luka over here so Luka could be our franchise player. I am building around Luka. This should be LeBron James' last year as a Laker, and if he wants to go somewhere else and to try to chase another championship, do that. But as for the Lakers, I think this should be LeBron's last year. They picked up his option. I think he should go out there and play. He's going to get 1 more year with his son, Bronny, and this should be his last year as a Laker, and you build around Luka. Because this Lakers team right now, to be honest with you, I don't know how far they're going to go, but I don't think it's going to be a championship. And I think this should be LeBron's last year there, and you start building around Luka right now.
I think it has to be LeBron's last year in L.A. if the Lakers want to win anything of significance. You can't win a championship right now, or at least it would be very hard to win with Luka and LeBron on the court at the same time, because neither of them at this point are defensive juggernauts. LeBron's not a defensive juggernaut because of his age, and he's only going to get older, and Luka's not a defensive juggernaut just because he hasn't been. So if you're looking at the construction of NBA champions the last several years, if you look at the backcourt, you got dudes that can play defense.
Yep.
If you think about the OKC Thunder, they rolled out a whole squad of cats that can play defense. And then coming off the bench, cats that can play defense. Even if you ask, wait, why did Case and Wallace start in the NBA Finals and Hardenstein move to the bench? Because of defense. Now, it didn't necessarily pan out because he was only averaging 5.5 points a game, but it was a defensive move. If you look at the Pacers, everybody on there, regardless of how their offense could go, outside of you could suggest maybe Tyrese Halliburton could strap you up on defense, from Nembhard to Naismith to Miles Turner, had an atrocious offensive series in the NBA Finals, but he could play defense. If you're rolling out onto the court with LeBron James, because of his age, he's no longer a defensive juggernaut. Luka Doncic, because of his athleticism, he's not a defensive juggernaut. Then you have Austin Reeves, because of his athleticism, he can't play no defense. That's 60% of the roster that can't play no defense. It's just an imbalanced roster. So this has to be LeBron's last year if the Lakers actually want to win some games. You want to sell tickets, keep LeBron there as long as possible, but I don't see the coexistence of LeBron and Luka and championship. One of them, the other, but not both in a championship.
I agree with you. And I'm not going to go as far as saying maybe this should be LeBron's last year in general. Because if you do go separate, because you say maybe 2 years to play, if you go somewhere else, where's he going to go? How's that 1 year dynamic? What kind of team, right? But for me, with the Lakers, like, you opted into a $52 million player option. I don't think he's going to get traded. I think this is probably going to be his last year. And for the Lakers' point of view, I think that's really important because Luka is still young. Now, he's got face of the league, face of the franchise written all over him. He's their next statue player, right? But they're clearly moving on with him. You want Luka around LeBron for as long as you possibly can have them, because you want to teach him how to prepare, what to eat, how to take care of your body. It's almost like it's the passing of the torch of the superstars. Now, they were on the court together this year quite a bit. Now, I do think this roster can make a run one more time at it. When you have Luka and you have LeBron, which LeBron, as a 40-year-old, he played in 70 out of 82 games. It's not like he's some old relic, right? He was 13th in points per game. He averaged 24 points, and he's 6th in assists per game. But I do believe the days of catering to what LeBron wants are over in L.A. And I think with that being the case, look no further than that Craig's dinner. Who was at that dinner? Rob Pelinka, J.J. Redick, Luka's manager, and Luka. There was no LeBron there. They're moving forward with what's in the best interest of this franchise, and they made a crazy, crazy trade at the middle of last year, beginning of last year for Luka. He's their superstar moving forward. If you keep the band together too long, it might hinder the development of Luka.
Well, I think where I agree with you is this, that you have a chance to make a run at it this year if and only if you acquire a two-way player in the starting lineup. But so long as LeBron is there, he's no longer a two-way player in the starting lineup. Luka Doncic, he's not a two-way player. Austin Reeves, he proved in the playoffs, he's not a two-way player. Rui Hachimura is supposed to kind of, to some degree, be a two-way player, but it's not like he's dominant on either end of the floor. He's not a lockdown defender, not that those necessarily exist anymore in the NBA outside of the Lou Dorts of the world, but he's not a lockdown defender, and he's not a prolific scorer. Then DeAndre Ayton, he comes. Who do you replace?
Yeah.
Do you replace Reeves, but they love him because of how young he is and his promise? Do you replace LeBron James? Well, that's the conversation we're all sitting here having now. Do you replace Rui? That was, I believe, what they were trying to do in trying to acquire Wiggins. If they didn't and don't acquire Andrew Wiggins, I don't think they're making a run because they lack a two-way player. And who in the world, viewers at home, who's going to guard Ant-Man? Who's going to guard Kevin Durant? Who's going to guard Ja Morant? Who's going to guard SGA? Who's going to guard J-Dub? Now that J-Dub has proven he can score 40 points in the finals. Say you make it to the NBA Finals. Who's going to guard Brunson? Who's going to guard Jaylen Brown? Who's going to guard the dominant offensive players that every team has? The Lakers do not have one player that you can throw at the dominant offensive players. They have to acquire somebody, but if you have LeBron and Luka, that limits the pieces you can use to acquire that somebody.
Yeah, and I think it's very clear, though, this is Luka's team. I think it's very clear that's what the Lakers are saying. When they made the trade, Brown coming out saying, I ain't got nothing to say, because he probably ain't in on these meetings, Chase. It's true. And he was in on a lot of these meetings. But not only that, you cannot win a championship with what the Lakers have right now. So you're going to have to either move Bron or this Bron last year to bring in more players to surround Luka. That's the only way you're going to make a run. And you traded for him knowing that. You traded for him knowing, man, LeBron is older. He is not going to be able to really carry a team no more. We need to get a guy in here that can, and that is Luka. Build around Luka. This is LeBron James last year. We should all enjoy Brown playing basketball for however long he's going to play, but this should be his last year as a Laker.
Incredibly well said. Hey, is Brock Purdy's beginning to the big money on his deal? Well, Niners legends have spoken about Brock Purdy. So does Brock Purdy, now the $50 million quarterback, does he have anything to prove this season? Let's get into it. Let's get into it. That's the facility. Don't forget, check us out every day on Fox Sports Channel. Serious.
At Strayer University, we help students like you go from, is it possible, to anything is possible by offering access to up to 10 no-cost gen ed courses, so you can reach your goals affordably and fast. Visit strayer.edu to learn more. No-cost gen eds provided by Strayer University affiliate Sophia. Eligibility rules apply. Connect with us for details. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
Brock Purdy signed a massive 5-year, $265 million extension this offseason, and 49ers legend Joe Montana has no problems with it. Montana said the Niners had to do the deal, adding, quote, it's not like he hasn't done the job. If Joe Montana speaks, we all got to listen. This is a facility. Again, y'all could be watching any show. You are hanging out with us. We don't take it for granted. Quarterback, speak on this. You think Brock Purdy has anything to prove this season?
Oh, yeah, always. Every quarterback in the NFL has something to prove every single year. And if you're a quarterback in the National Football League and you're not constantly trying to get better or trying to prove that you belong in the league, see you later.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is, especially Brock Purdy, who was mystery relevant, last pick in the draft, to now a 5-year, $265 million deal. I think it ranks him around 7th highest paid quarterback, right? And it's hard to argue what Joe Montana said. It's not like he hasn't done the job. You look at the first 2 years starting, right? Like, he was third string his rookie year. He went on and I think 5 or 6 straight regular season wins, took him to the NFC Championship game, all that stuff. Been to 2 NFC Championship games and lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs in overtime.
Yeah.
Like he was the reason. Now there's a multitude of areas in that team that are really good, including Kyle Shanahan, including George Kittle, including CMC when he's healthy, that offensive line. They've purged a lot of that this year. Now CMC is coming back. I think he'll be healthy. I think he'll help him get to the championship again. And I don't know, is it a division championship? It's going to be interesting to see how Brock Purdy plays this year, because he dealt with, not him, but his team has dealt with a lot of injuries last year. And sometimes when you see that happen, you see quarterbacks trying to play outside of themselves and trying to do too much. You didn't see that with Brock Purdy. Maybe that's never going to be Brock Purdy. He's never going to be the guy to just put you on your back no matter what and take you to the promised land, which will be another Super Bowl. What he needs and what Kyle Shanahan needs is the reason why they had a 5-year marriage together. They need him to play in the system. Now, he plays in this system better than any quarterback Kyle Shanahan's had. Granted, given the fact that they have the highest paid contract in the history of the franchise. There's no 49er that's been paid more money than Brock Purdy. So with that, expectations come. And look, you say, and we say that, and it's great, but there's levels to this, right? You're going to have to bring your level of play up because you don't have all the weapons you had last year. Everyone's getting a little bit older. How's CMC going to react? How's this going to happen? How's that? So for me, and what I view quarterbacks as, you better always, in your mind, prove something. And that proving to him is like, last year was just an aberration. It was just the one thing, hey, after we reach Super Bowl, these Kyle Shanahan-led teams, we miss the playoffs the next year. Get back to it. It's going to be a tough division, but there's always something to prove.
Yeah, it's a whole lot to prove for Brock Purdy because one thing I do know is when you get more money, right, the expectations go up for you to play, all right? This Niners team is not the same Niners team Brock Purdy been playing on as a starter. That's really what got him paid.
Changed.
It has changed. So now you are going to have to cover up a lot of these holes we have on our football team. Last year, you couldn't. We dealt with a lot of injuries. We didn't have that roster that we usually have for you, and you did not deliver. You played very average last year. 20 touchdown passes, 15 picks. If you play like that again this year, you guys will not be going to the playoffs. Brock Purdy has to show that he can carry the team for some games. Yeah. Not for the whole season, but for some games, he has to show this is why you paid me the money. Because to be honest with you, it's not going to be no more, oh, that's just Brock Purdy's 7th-round pick. Because that's what it was when you weren't playing well last year or when you had a couple bad games. He's mystery relevant. No. You the 7th highest paid now. You said highest paid 49ers. I just instantly just started thinking about all the great 49er players in my head, and he's the highest paid one. It's a whole lot to prove for Brock Purdy because there is going to be 7 to 8 games this year to where you're going to have to be the best player on the field and ball and carry your team. Can you do that? And if you can't do that, everybody's going to be walking out of that stadium now saying, we paid this dude all that money. What were we? That's what's going to be. Mr. Irrelevant, they ain't going to be saying that no more. It's a whole lot for this young fella to prove.
It's fair to say him being Mr. Irrelevant is now irrelevant. As I'm thinking about it. It's fair to say that. It's completely irrelevant that he was Mr. Irrelevant. Brock Purdy has a ton to prove. Because now, not only do you have to play well for yourself, you got to play well enough to quiet all the distractions. As we're prepping for this show, walking upstairs, Juwan Jennings, the Niners' second leading receiver last year in touchdowns, he says, either pay me or I want to get traded. If y'all do not give me a new deal by the time training camp occurs, Juwan Jennings is like, I want out. So now, Brock, you got to deal with stuff like that. And now we expect you to handle it. We don't expect Shanahan to handle it. I don't expect Trent Williams to handle it. Now, Brock, you have to handle it. Deebo Samuel, gone. Brandon Ayuk, coming off an ACL injury. When will he be ready and when will he be back to full speed? Ricky Pearsall is just going into his second year and to some degree his first year because he got shot last year. So there's just a lot going on with the Niners. And more than anything, Chase, I look at it like this. We still have doubts about Brock Purdy. Like, we don't have doubts about the Pats. We don't have doubts about the Josh. In the regular season, we don't have doubts about the Lamars. Most people don't even have doubts about the Joe Burrow on the field. You still have doubts about Brock Purdy. Anybody who you still have doubts about, they have something to prove. Because we're not sure that Brock Purdy is great.
What does he have to do to be sure, though? Because, like, you say doubts. I think there was so many more doubts when he was Mr. Irrelevant, bringing back to more relevant information. Because now that he's paid and he's led in 3 years as a starter to 2 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl, it's a lot more than those top 10 lists that people, the graphic you showed in the A block. So my question to you is, like, what doubts, like, will he ever be able to have no doubts as a quarterback? Because that's not his game.
Thinking about it, prepping for this show is, if Brock Purdy has another average or below average season, we'll now look at him after 4 years, and he's had 2 good ones and 2 bad ones. You just as bad as you are good. You just as good as you are bad. He had a great rookie season. Remember, he didn't start the whole year. You had Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. Had a really good sophomore season. You go to the Super Bowl. 3rd year, he's 6-9 as a starter. If this year he's 6-9 again, say he's 6-10, say he plays all 17 games, say he's 6-11, say he's 7-10. Now, all of a sudden, we're looking up, James, and after 4 years, you've had 2 great ones. You've had 2 bad ones. Who are you? You Jekyll? I don't know who you are. So the dilemma, Chase, is there, at this point, 2 good years, 1 average year, maybe 1 bad year. It could be 2 good years, 2 bad years. What kind of quarterback is he?
But not only that, the doubt comes in, always the doubt has been, what do you look like without all your pieces?
Yeah.
And last year was the first time we truly seen him without all his pieces. And it was not good. You're coming into this year, you're not as good as you've been on defense, and you're not as good as you've been on offense. What is it going to look like for you? Are you still going to look like this quarterback that we talk about is special for Cal Shanahan's system and win games? That's where the doubt comes in, because we don't know we do know how Brock Purdy looks with not a loaded roster, and it's 6-9. So that's the doubt. How are you going to look without a loaded roster? We know what you look like with a loaded roster. It's to the Super Bowl. Very, very good. What do you look like without a loaded roster? That's why I say it's a whole lot for him to prove, because this is not a loaded roster.
There's always something to prove for sure. But for me, it's like, if you put him in that boat, then there's only 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar, that don't have any doubts. Like I don't have any doubts.
You got to put
Maybe
Jayden
Stafford
in there too.
Maybe Stafford, but Stafford didn't go to the playoffs or didn't have a playoff win in Detroit. Yeah. Like, for how good he was, now it's special, right? But, like, those are the 4. I don't know if Brock Purdy, and I think it's completely fine, I don't know if Brock Purdy is ever going to get into that. There's always going to be doubts about him. It's how you handle and how you play within the scheme. You said bad year last year. It wasn't great, but there is a lot of stuff around that where the injuries and they were playing with 3rd and 4th stringers. You follow the Niners more than anyone on national television, I would suggest. You know that, and it's not an excuse whatsoever. But it's like, I think we have to understand he's the upper to middle tier of quarterbacks, and he'll probably always live right there. Yeah. And you can win with quarterbacks like that if your roster is good, because all these guys need rosters. Josh Allen hasn't won a Super Bowl. He hasn't been to a Super Bowl with how good he's been.
The only pushback I'll give, obviously I'm a Brock Purdy fan, love Brock Purdy, and as you do as well. Yeah. The only pushback I'll give is Brock Purdy at his worst now has shown us it's bad, the 6-9 record. Jalen Hurts, for whatever you think about him, he's never missed the playoffs, ever. Like, even when the Eagles had that terrible losing streak in 2023, lost to the Bucs in the playoffs, Hurts has never missed the playoffs. You know, say what you will about Joe Burrow, at least you have the excuse that, he's hurt when they missed the playoffs. At least you can have some sort of excuse. Sure. And the year that he was healthy, they missed the playoffs. He had 40 touchdowns and he went crazy. Josh Allen, he don't miss the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, say what you will about his playoff woes. When he's healthy, he doesn't miss the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't need to be mentioned in this conversation. So for me with Brock Purdy, now the dilemma is, at his best, he's an all-pro caliber, MVP finalist quarterback. But the dilemma now for me is, at your worst, who are you? And I look at athletes, not just who are you at your best, how bad are you at your worst? That, to me, really tells me where an athlete should fall.
But not only that, like, now we looking at you, man. You making a whole lot of money. When we in this huddle, we looking at you to be one of the better players on the field, wherever you was drafted at, or whatever everybody think about you, whatever doubts anybody. When you calling the play, bro, you making a whole lot of money. We looking at you to make those plays. Brock Purdy, right? We've all been around some really good quarterbacks, and whether you watch it from the side, come on.
Yeah.
I've been in some huddles with some really good quarterbacks. We believe in them dudes. Brock Purdy, you have to really let the Niners know, I got you. Yeah. Because last year you didn't with this roster.
Hey,
you got to let the Niners know we got you.
Speaking of people we believe in, there's no athlete that you can believe in more right now than the one and only Caitlin Clark. Came into the WNBA as an absolute phenom, injured earlier in the season, not once but twice, but after a double-double yesterday where she dropped 13 dimes. Is Caitlin Clark living up to the hype, or should we want more? That's next for the story.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Buying a car shouldn't eat up your week. That's why Carvana made it convenient. Car buying that fits around your life, not the other way around. You can get pre-qualified for an auto loan in just a couple of minutes and browse thousands of quality car options, all within your terms, all online, all on your schedule. Turn car buying into a few clicks and not a full week's endeavor. Finance and buy your car at your convenience on Carvana. Financing subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply.
Hey, Caitlin Clark, 14 points, 13 dimes, and 5 steals yesterday, people. 5 steals. In case you missed it, Caitlin Clark is back and as good as ever, at least when it comes to dropping dimes. They beat Paige Beckers. You know she a beast out of UConn as well. And Clark, she's been under a huge microscope since she joined the W. So we wanted to take a look at the bigger picture of it all. Caitlin Clark, an absolute phenom, star of a nation, a superstar in this generation. James, is it fair to say that Caitlin Clark has lived up to the hype?
Absolutely. I mean, I got a WNBA pass now. You know what I'm saying? I like all the WNBA players, man, but, you know, I got it because I wanted to see, you know, the young phenom play. But she's like that. And, I mean, this year she's been injured, you know, and, you know, she's having a little down year. But Caitlin Clark makes everybody around her better. She's like one of the really good quarterbacks in the National Football League. She makes everybody around her better. Obviously, she could shoot the air out of the basketball. She's exciting. But if you look at what she did last year as a rookie, it was phenomenal. I mean, we're talking about triple-doubles here and there. We're talking about 10-plus assists a game. I mean, she is truly like that. She is a treat to watch. But she's absolutely has lived up to the hype. And she's only going to continue to get better and stronger and continue to make her team better. But Caitlin Clark and his Fever team, I think they got a shot this year, too, to make some noise, too. But she's absolutely lived up to the hype, for sure.
It's hard for me to answer that question right now because of how great the hype is. If I had to answer it, I would say yes. But for me, James, when I'm thinking about Caitlin Clark in sports, I'm thinking about Naomi Osaka's. I'm thinking about Sha'Carri Richardson's. I'm thinking about Simone Biles's. I'm thinking about, and that's just comparing her in that elite class and her gender, the superstar women that have come out in the last 5 to 10 years, if you will. To live up to the hype, I need to see eventually championship or championships. In the case of Simone Biles, Sha'Carri Richardson, Naomi Osaka, medals, slams. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So though Caitlin has been dominant, as it pertains to ticket sales, lived up to the hype, of course. As it pertains to people subscribing to the league pass, lived up to the hype. Viewership lived up to the hype. Even individual performance lived up to the hype. But there comes a point in time for me, probably in 2 years from now, where I need to see a championship. I agree. I need to see an MVP. I need to see either an individual greatness accolade or a collective team accolade to suggest you lived up to the hype. When Bron took the Cavs to the finals in 2007, though they got swept by the Spurs, and you know how dominant those Spurs teams ended up being over the course of that tenure, that to me was living up to the hype. Yeah. It was carrying a team of Zydrunas Ilgauskas. It was carrying that team, Anderson Varejao. It was carrying that team to the NBA Finals that said to me, the chosen one is here.
Yeah, I agree.
I need to see that, but obviously from ticket sales chase and all that, she's lived up. She's exceeded the hype.
Yeah, I mean, she is the hype. Like, let's be real about it. Like, I'm not being facetious when I say, like, she put the WNBA on the map. Like, it was already there. But, guys, like, just look at the pure TV ratings, because we're in a ratings business. If you ain't get ratings, see you later. The leagues might implode, right? That's what she get. Teams with the Fever, when they're on TV, ratings are 1.5 million people are watching. Every other game that Caitlin Clark and the Fever are on, 850,000. Double. Almost double the amount of people tune in. That's what the league wants. That's what people want. They want to watch her, right? And like as a rookie last year, she was incredible. First in assists per game, first in three-pointers made per game, 7th in points per game. I would say back then she started living up to the hype. She's made America tune in to women's basketball.
But is that, Chase, for us on TV, obviously that matters most, right? Ratings, et cetera. But now let's remove our television hats and let's go back to our athlete hats. 14 years in the NFL, 9 years in the NFL, 4 years in the NFL. We didn't care about ratings. When James, you suiting up for the Packers, we weren't, man, I wonder how many people watched tonight. It was, did we win? And did we win it all? For me, as great as Caitlin is, she didn't win a chip in college. As great as Caitlin is, there was no noise made in the playoffs last year. As great as Caitlin is, I believe their team is sitting at 11-10 this year, 7-5 when she plays. As great as Caitlin is, eventually we need to see medals, trophies, hardware. Eventually we need to see those things. It's only her second year. But I just think it's a little premature to say that she's lived up to the hype because the hype was so great. We're talking about ratings. That's not hype to me.
Yeah,
to me,
but
she got to win.
She's meant so much more to the league in general. Now, when you talk about her, she's not only living to the hype as a spectacle, right? For people to get to the stands, put people's butts in stands, all this stuff, merchandise sales, ticket sales, stuff like that. She's finding ways to get better on the court. Now, she's been hurt, so you can't really use these 12 games, I think, that she's played this season. She's averaging 16, 9, and 5. But when you are a league that maybe hasn't struggled but hasn't exploded until Caitlin Clark has come in, that's what you want. Now, if you're talking from a pure athlete standpoint, sure, they went out and they got Mizzou great Sophie Cunningham, right? The enforcer of Caitlin Clark. She went to Mizzou, same time I was, right? They've added help around her. They have to continue to build it. I think a championship will come. She's too good for it not to.
Yeah. And not only that, for me, though, it's all about how she's playing. If you look at her last year, she was phenomenal as a rookie. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at her this year, the way she's playing. I mean, when she's on the basketball court, it's an exciting basketball game.
Always.
You know what I mean? And her team are in a lot of basketball games, and a lot of it has to do with her play. And then not only that, how people have played her and the success that she's still having. I mean, every single time she steps on the basketball court, I mean, they're picking her up for 94 feet. And she's still having a whole lot of success. So for me, I'm saying she's living up to the hype because I've been watching her play game after game after game. And when she is on the basketball court, she's exciting. It's an exciting basketball game, and she is good. And I truly believe a championship will come because they are going to put a good team
But that's when I can, to me, James, answer the question, whether even you win it, but getting there. Because it's 20-20 living up to the hype, the record last year. It's 11-10 winning up to the hype, the record this year. Is 31-30 living up to the hype, her record over 2 years through 60 games. Is that living up to... Now, as an individual talent, putting butts in seats, and Caitlin Clark is absolutely amazing. Obviously, to some degree, I'm advocating for the devil, though the devil needs no advocate. So, to some degree, I'm just trying to further this conversation, but is it living up to the hype until you see confetti in some degree?
But she was the #1 overall pick last year.
Yeah.
And she took and they started 0-9, I believe. She took that team to the playoffs.
It wasn't a good team.
You know what I'm saying? This year, she's been up and down with injuries and all that, but they're going to be in the playoffs again. So you came to a team that you was the #1 overall pick, and back-to-back years you took your team to the playoffs. Eventually, I think she's going to get over that hump. But watching her play, the hype is real.
Yeah.
She's only played 52 regular season games. I mean, like, let's let it culminate, ruminate some more. She's going to continue getting better.
No doubt about that. Hey, speaking of another #1 overall pick, Caleb Williams is thinking about Super Bowls. According to the wallpaper on his phone, y'all, he got caught. Wallpaper on his phone, a Lombardi trophy. Well, if that's the expectation for himself, what's success look like for Caleb in year 2? That's next.
This episode is brought to you by Dogfish Head Craft Brewery. The Grateful Dead and Dogfish Head have gotten the band back together with the release of Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale, a light-bodied pale ale brewed with sustainable Kernza grains, granola, and heaps of good karma for a refreshing brew that's music to your taste buds. Available nationwide. Visit dogfish.com to find Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale in your neck of the woods. Dogfish Head Craft Brewery is located in Milton, Delaware. Please drink responsibly.
Caleb Williams is set to enter his second season in the NFL, and it's clear that the former #1 overall pick has big goals for the Bears this season. Take a look at a photo that was posted. It shows Caleb Williams' wallpaper on his cell phone. It could have been worse. It's a Lombardi trophy. Y'all remember when Dak Prescott got made fun of for having a picture of himself on his lodge?
Wait, for real?
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago.
Oh, my God.
Dak got clowned. Caleb, he has a Lombardi. I get it. He thinks Lombardi's on the way. Chase, you played quarterback for the Chicago Bears, of which Caleb Williams is right now. What is success for Caleb in year 2?
I think it's playoffs. I think just purely based on that division, I would say the NFC North is probably the best division in football, like top 4 up and down.
Top to bottom.
Yeah, top to bottom. You could say the AFC West as well, probably. But when you look at the growth from year 1 to year 2 in quarterbacks, maybe that haven't had a great rookie year. It wasn't awful. He didn't throw a lot of interceptions, mainly because he wasn't trying to throw a lot of interceptions and barely throwing the ball down the field. However, when you look at what I need Caleb to do, it's obviously play better on the field, right? But if you look at Ryan Poles, who just got an extension, and you look at this offensive guru-minded head coach and Ben Johnson, what they're doing is they're putting every single piece around Caleb to build around him, right? You redo that interior 3 offensive linemen, Jonah Jackson, Joe Tooney, Drew Dalman, are all brand new 3, all really good offensive linemen. Secure that O-line. You draft Luther Burden, second round. Should have, I think, first round pick out of Missouri, right? You draft Colson Loveland to pair with Cole Kmet and 12 personnel. You're doing all these things, and you have probably the 3 receivers, like DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Luther, maybe the 3 most underrated receivers in a lot of football, because those guys can fly. He has everything he needs. What he needs to get better at, and what I've heard through the organization, what I know he's getting better at, he needs to get better mentally, man. Like, hey, I'm not saying like mentally his work ethic, but how are you handling your business on and off the field? How you're going about getting through a grind of an NFL season. If something doesn't go your way, are you sulking on the, like we've seen them, are you calling out your team? All this stuff, it matters. And you have all these, like, people in the quarterback room that are talking to him, that are getting better. We heard the story that came out this past year. Oh, Caleb didn't watch film, and we just react. Oh my God, that's not the case this year. Like he's learning all these things, because no matter if you're a generational talent or not in college, the jump, it's different for everybody. We saw Jayden Daniels go above and beyond. In some lists, he's ranked number 5. And it's hard to try to compare guys because every guy is different. I think you're going to see that seismic jump in year 2, and I think making the playoffs will be a good way to do it.
It's very simple for me, man. We just showed the top 10 quarterback list. A dude from your class is in there. You're not. A dude that we think you got way more talent in than Baker Mayfield, he in there at 10. We need you to get in this top 10 conversation. I don't really care about no playoffs and none of that, because I do know it's hard to win in this league. But you had a better team than Jayden Daniels last year. And Jayden Daniels looked way better than you on that football field. Baker Mayfield last year looked way better than you on the football field. I believe you have more talent than these dudes at the quarterback spot when you talk about from top to bottom, throwing it, extending plays, throwing on the run, all that. We need to see top 10. You got one of the coldest dudes in the world in Ben Johnson calling plays for you now. They putting a lot of talent around you, not just on the offensive side of the ball, but defensive side of the ball too. I need to see that top 10 talent, top 10 quarterback. That's what I want to walk in, come out of this season. I want to say, when they put this top 10 list out, Caleb Williams out there, and the wins will come after that. Because if he plays at that type level, the Bears will be a good football team. But he's too talented. We put him up there coming out of college. We need to see it.
It's interesting. It's kind of a game of chicken or the egg. I think making the playoffs is success. What comes first?
Oh, chicken or the egg?
Come on, which one came first?
What came first?
I don't know.
Like, on Earth, what came first?
Is the chicken or the actual egg?
The chicken, I guess.
I think the chicken.
You think the chicken?
I think the chicken. Chicken laid the egg.
The reason I say that is James is like, if he's top 10, everything else will come. I'm like, if everything else comes, he'll be top 10. So I think Caleb Williams needs to make the playoffs this year. Because if he makes the playoffs this year, we'll look at him as a top 10 quarterback. If you don't make the playoffs,
will we? Will we, though?
Why is Purdy in there then?
Purdy's not in there.
If Caleb,
you think Jaden's too high.
If Caleb makes the playoffs in a division with the Packers and everything they got,
it's a tough division.
Lions and everything they got, and the Vikings and what we think they have, Caleb, you did something. Because to make the playoffs in that division, you probably won 11 games. To make the playoffs in the NFC, you probably win in 11 or 12. Caleb, if you can do that, you did something right. So if you make the playoffs this year, that's success to me. Because if you don't, really, what in the heck went wrong? Go ahead, Jake.
My only thing with that is because when you talk about Herbert ain't did nothing when you talk about win-wise, winning playoff.
0-2 in the playoffs.
But when we look at Herbert, when we watch Herbert his rookie year ball out, when we look at Herbert play the game of football, we can still, whatever we want to think about Herbert, we can look at it and be like, bruh, good.
The eye test.
You understand what I'm saying? Even throwing, even if he was 5'2", him extending plays, throwing and all that, like Herbert is good. That's why we're so frustrated with him, because he's good and it's not equaling to you being good in the playoffs and winning. We need to see that from Caleb. Win or lose playoffs or not, we need to walk out of here saying, bruh's good.
But is it possible I don't know that it's possible
that's what I was
for the
say.
Bears to make the playoffs without him being good.
So then you're on my side. We need to look out here.
My thing is how if he makes the playoffs, right, chicken or the egg, how does he actually become a top 10 quarterback in 1 year? I don't think it's possible. Right now, you're ranking them at 24, 25.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like the jump would be astronomical.
But I'm just saying, Herbert, to me, it's not. If you look at the way Caleb Williams plays football, because even last year, there was some throws to where we Lord have mercy.
Oh, no doubt.
3 people in the planet Earth that can make them throws.
I'd agree with that.
If he comes out there and plays that way consistently, and we're walking out of the season saying, man, Caleb was a fuck out.
Regardless of how well Caleb Williams plays, if you don't make the playoffs, I don't care. And the reason I say I don't care is like Chase said in his first take, bro, you have an incredible tight end room. You have an incredible wide receiver room. You have an incredible offensive line. You have a brilliant head coach, and you have a really good running back. If you don't make the playoffs, what happened? Because your defense last year was top 10. So if you don't make the playoffs, now I'm just like, you couldn't have been good. Even if you were top 10, clearly you were doing something at the end of the games that we can't quantify, or you were doing something turning the football over. Because offensively, James, they're stacked.
But couldn't have been good. Like, Joe was good last year, if not great.
No, he was great.
You know what I'm saying?
But his defense was atrocious.
But I'm saying,
and there were moments you couldn't quantify at the end of the games where Joe got outplayed.
But when we came out of the season, we said, Lord have mercy. Joe ball.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, Caleb, we need to walk out of this season, whatever happens for the Bears, Caleb balled. And it wasn't Caleb Williams' fault to why they not in the playoffs.
I don't disagree.
We got to walk out of the season like that.
I think the Bears have to walk out of the season saying Caleb's our guy.
And you got a ball for that.
I'm not saying that regardless, though.
I don't know. I mean, new head coach, you're not going to get rid of a guy before it, but you want to be sure.
You want to be sure.
With a new head coach, with Ryan Poles, who just got an extension this past year to match up with Ben Johnson, who's I think a 5-year deal. You want to be absolutely sure. I don't think there's any way you can be in top 10 unless they win the Super Bowl this year.
Really quick. Right now, would you rather have Baker Mayfield on the Bears or Caleb Williams?
Right now, Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
That has to change.
But Baker's a top 10 quarterback.
That has to change.
So that's what your whole team
And that's what I'm saying. You got to show you are that guy. You should not, the way you looked in college, you should not be in the Baker Mayfield conversation.
But we've seen plenty of guys look great in college and be horrible in the NFL.
And we've seen Baker Mayfield in the pros, too. You should not be in that conversation. You should come out of the season, and it shouldn't be.
But, James, isn't that a little offensive? And the reason I say that is Caleb got to get out of Taylor Heineke conversations before he can get out of a Baker Mayfield conversation.
Lord have mercy.
Let's just be frank here. He got to get out of Marcus Mariota conversations before he get into a Baker conversation.
All I'm saying is when you look at Caleb,
it's a lot of people to jump.
When you look at Caleb Williams as a quarterback, and you look at Baker Mayfield as a quarterback, with what they both have,
skill set,
we would take Caleb Williams.
Of course.
Baker Mayfield is in the top 10. That's what they're saying right now. So all I'm saying is for Caleb, you have to get into that conversation. These dudes that you have more than shouldn't be in that conversation.
Can he get into the top 15 or 20 first? You got to get. Can he get past Dak Prescott?
I think he's
can he get past Kirk Cousins?
But for me, he's not a top 20 talent, though.
It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying, though.
What you do on the
but
field,
I'm saying, that's why I'm saying he has to deliver that.
I hear you. Hey, well, speaking of players being ranked and being ranked high.
I didn't say I hear you. I said I feel you.
One of Caleb's classmates, Jayden Daniels, they say he's the 5th best rookie or 5th best player at quarterback in the NFL.
Oh.
Is that too high? Yeah, 5th best quarterback. My bad. That just seemed too high. You have to talk about it.
Meet the most capable CR-V Honda has ever dreamed of. The all-new CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. With all-terrain tires and available enhanced traction control, it's built for wherever the day takes you. Heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, ideal for winter drives and crisp early starts. And with generous cargo space, it's ready for big gear and even bigger getaways. The CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. Learn more at honda.com/CRV.
What a rookie season for Jayden Daniels. Helped the Commanders to the NFC Championship game. A complete turnaround for a franchise that was in absolute chaos and turmoil. A survey of NFL executives, coaches, scouts, they had Jayden Daniels all the way up as the 5th best quarterback in the National Football League. 5. James, I love Jayden Daniels like everybody else, but when I saw 5, I said, come on now. Yeah. Jayden Daniels, I believe, is one of the most talented skill set-wise quarterbacks in the NFL. He's truly the perfect dual-threat quarterback. He's a quarterback whose running ability doesn't at all undermine his passing ability. I think over 3,500 passing yards last year and over 800 rushing yards last year. Oftentimes with dual-threat quarterbacks, they're great runners, but they can't necessarily throw all that great. Or they're great passers, but they can't necessarily run all that well. Jayden Daniels is the elite dual-threat quarterback. You could go as far as to say the best dual-threat quarterback in football, Lamar Jackson included, because at such an early age, his running ability doesn't undermine his passing ability. Like, you could go as far as to say that. You could, and I would listen to you, and I might be on your side. But James, 5 is a little too steep for me after 1 year. Like, I respect consistency in the NFL too much to, after one season, suggest that somebody is a top 5 player. Top 5 talent, all day. But a top 5 player, that's a little long for me.
No, I agree, and I agree with everything you said. When you talk about a talent standpoint, I think Jayden Daniels could stand in this pocket all game long and not scramble 1 yard and still win games because his arm is that live and that good, and he can take over games with his legs. But this is a 1-year sample size, and I understand it was a great 1 year, but it is a 1-year sample size from Jayden Daniels, and I cannot put him over a lot of these guys that I've seen do it consistent. The Jared Goffs, the Jalen Hurts, the Matthew Staffords. I cannot put him over those guys just after one season. I just can't. Do I think he's going to be great? He's going to be a top 2 quarterback in this league? Absolutely, he's that good. But right now, as we sit here after 1 year, I cannot put Jayden Daniels in the top 5 when you talk about quarterback play because you're right, Acho. It is very, very hard in this league to be consistent. Very hard. And you're talking about at the quarterback position, it's even harder. So for me, 1 year sample size, I can't have him at 5.
I was going to say I thought it was too high, but listening to you two talk, I think it's right where he needs to be. Now, listen. Now, after 1 year,
you say we tripping.
Yeah, pretty much. If you want to say it like that, I was trying to be a little nicer about it, but you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. The more I think about it, Jayden Daniels last year, he played like a top 3 or 4 quarterback for the 1 year sample size, right? Like what he was able to do with what no one on their bingo card had the Washington Commanders with a throwaway head coach that people didn't. He was the last one hired. Oh, okay, I guess we'll fall back on Dan Quinn. Now look at him now, right? And the roster that they had, they're so old. The average age is 28 years old. Jayden Daniels, we think he's going to be good, right? We got the number 2 quarterback in the draft going into last year, supposedly, right? But what he was able to do as a rookie, it's never been done. Like, you look at, and I can have all these stats. Like I said, this is the first day back in a while. I have all these crazy stats to prove to you. But the eye test will show you and prove to you that he played like a top 5 quarterback last year, okay? So that's why he's at 5. Now, the one thing I probably think these top 10 quarterbacks surveyed of NFL execs, coaches, scouts, they're saying is, what's the ceiling for Jayden Daniels? Is he going to continue to get better? You just said, and you made my point for me, you think he could potentially be a top 2 or 3 type quarterback. Yeah. And I would say I'm not going to speak, but I would say probably around the same way for you. And so for me, based on a 1 year sample size, I'm good with it. I don't think this is a C.J. Stroud story, where C.J. Stroud had an amazing rookie year and then last year took a little bit of steps back because he was sacked a ton. And when you look at Jayden, he has the potential to be a no-doubter top 5 player. Now, I'll listen to you say, is he 6 or 7? Sure. But based on what we saw in the 1 year sample size, and if he can continually do it again, based on what I think his ceiling will be, he's one of the better true dual threats I've seen.
In sports, this isn't even a Jayden Daniels conversation. In sports, we know how hard it is to be consistently good.
That's my thing.
Like in college, James, at Texas, we used to wear these wristbands, consistently good to be great. You got to be consistently good to be great. You got to be consistently great to be excellent. It's so hard to be consistently good. We've seen several quarterbacks be good for a year. Robert Griffin, great for a year. He could have had a phenomenal NFL career. He gets hurt. Andrew Luck, concussions, his career cut short. Andrew Luck was a phenomenal quarterback. There's a lot that goes into being great. Naomi Osaka, #1 player in the world for 17 weeks, and then she's dealing with mental health struggles. We've seen people come onto the scene and fade out. Not saying Jayden Daniels will do that, but I respect sports and athletics and competition so much that it's hard for me after 1 year, Chase, after one year to suggest quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts that's been in the league for about 6 years, 2 Super Bowls, Super Bowl MVP, Jayden Daniels, you better than him. Because of 1 year where you didn't even go further than him, it's hard for me.
And not only that, like it's very, very possible this year that they don't make the playoffs. Because there was a Hail Mary and a tip and a 4th down
away from
blitz
missing it.
for missing the playoffs. So it's a strong chance that they can miss the playoffs too. And what, we're going to bump him out of the top 10 now because he missed the playoffs? No. Jayden Daniels is a heck of a talent. Jayden Daniels is going to be a heck of a quarterback in this league. But it's a 1 year sample size for me. I seen a dude on that list go to 2 Super Bowls and a Super Bowl MVP. I seen a dude on that list in Jared Goff go to a Super Bowl and play at a really, really high level. I seen a dude that's underneath him in Matthew Stafford play at a very, very high level. And after 1 year, we're just putting this dude over him. I cannot do that. I do think he's going to be a really good quarterback, but after this year, I can't say that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with you. And I was surprised that I said it myself. But when you really think about it and the ceiling that it's going to, this top 10 quarterback list that we're seeing over here, it's not some list that's like, hey, this is over a 5-year period. This is going into the 2025 season. And so I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at him being a top 5 quarterback based on the 1 year and only year he's played as a rookie. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, let's just look at everything.
If the criteria is going into the 2025 season like Chase is talking about, I can adjust my opinion a little bit, Jay, because if I'm drafting Qs going into the 2020-25 season, I might actually draft them like 5. This. Like, now, because I might draft them like
That's
this.
That's what I'm saying.
Jay, you feel me? Like, if I'm drafting a Q, I'm taking Pat first. I'm probably taking Josh second. I might take Lamar third just because Lamar does it every single
and on the ground.
year. And
on the ground.
Lamar's just amazing.
Yeah.
I'm taking Lamar probably third. Then I'll probably take Joe and then James. I'm not mad at it. But if the list is, like, who are you? And who do I know you to be?
So
I can't
who
put
are
Jayden
you
there.
and what your ceiling is? And we got a man that's been to 2 Super Bowls and ain't never missed the playoffs.
Stuck on the Jalen Hurts one.
And then we got a dude in Matthew Stafford that's been in a Super Bowl, and we know he one of the best throwers of the football that we've possibly ever seen in a long time. Stafford's like that. He took some Rams teams that we weren't really high on to the playoffs.
Let me argue with you and myself for a moment. Because remember, first part of the show I said Jalen Hurts should be a top 5 Q based on what he's done. But as weird as this is to say, in Jayden Daniels' 1 year as a starter, do any of Jalen Hurts' 4 or 5, 6 years compare to the one we saw?
Second team All-Pro where he had a bunch of rushing touchdowns, maybe.
But I'm saying, like, y'all know football at extremely high level. To my left, y'all played football at a high level. Is there a year, pick any of Jalen Hurts' years, including the All-Pro year where he had 23 passing touchdowns, he had 15 rushing touchdowns, 38 total touchdowns. Is there a year where just looking at game tape, you can say Jalen Hurts was better than last year's Jayden Daniels?
This is the only thing that I will say right now. We agree on this with Jalen Hurts. Whenever it's a time to make a play to win the game, he makes a play to win the game. If Jalen Hurts if Jayden Daniels does not take his team to where he took his team last year, you know what we talking about him right now? Great rookie year, he's not even in these top 10 conversations. So he's in these top 10 conversations and top 5 conversations because we've seen the talent that he has and his team won. But Jalen Hurts is still winning at a higher clip than him. Jared Goff is still winning at a higher clip than him. Top 5, like I say, dude is a heck of a talent.
But then what's more impressive, though? Because I would argue what Jayden Daniels did last year with the Washington Commanders is as impressive, if not more impressive, than anything any quarterback did last year, including Josh Allen winning the MVP, including Jalen Hurts going to a Super Bowl. If you know just how bad the Commanders are and have been, and that roster was a throwaway roster in our heads, their best players are my age. Zach Ertz literally has the same exact birthday as me. Bobby Wagner came into the league the exact same draft class at the same position as me. So if you know that roster, what Jayden Daniels did with that roster is as impressive as what any Q did last year.
No doubt. But if we're really talking about that, then he should be one.
No. I'm not going to that.
But I'm dead serious, though, because if we're basically talking about a dude that went to a very, very bad team and took them to the NFC Championship, and a lot of it was because of him. And we sit here and talk about there's only 3 or 4 quarterbacks that really can go to a team and change around a whole team with not a lot of pieces around him. He did that. So if we're talking about that, he should be higher on the list. But the only reason why he's not higher on the list is because what these dudes have done over the course of their time in the league.
And I don't think that's fair to put him in that list because he's only been in the league for 1 year. We can't penalize him for only being in the league for 1 year. So this, to me, I take it as like top 5 quarterback. Absolutely. He's done stuff that other rookie quarterbacks have never done. Most rushing yards by a rookie quarterback ever. He's the first rookie quarterback with 3,500 passing yards and 800-plus rushing yards. You want to talk about when the game's on the line, this dude makes plays, most touchdowns in the fourth quarter in overtime by a rookie with 12. When the game's on the line, it was did not move fast for him. He was cool under pressure, calm, cool, and collected, as we like to call it. He had the best rookie season ever.
Agreed.
Agreed. No, ever.
As a baller.
There's never been a better rookie season. And so, I like that. And I don't, in knowing film and studying film, it's not just a one-hit wonder where, hey, he got lucky on something. The Hail Mary, sure. That's luck, right? But it was week in and week out, how he did it with the calmness that he did it. That's why I'm good with him at 5, man, because I think his ceiling, he might not have a great year, as good a year this next year, but overall, I think he's top 5.
I just don't want the young fella to not have that success winning-wise and all that, and we sit here he's a top 12 now.
I don't think that could happen.
I feel you.
Definitely could happen.
Hey, speaking about top 5 at their position, hey, how about T.J. Watt? He's probably top 2, and he might not be 2, but he's still waiting on a contract from the Steelers. Report says he wants $40 million a year, wanting to be the highest-paid defensive player in the history of the game. Are the Steelers respecting T.J. Watt? That's
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's $10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Welcome to the facility, people. Y'all can be doing anything. You're watching this show. We're having fun today. Good morning to you wherever you are at. T.J. Watt, he's hoping to have better mornings. He might be in mourning because the Steelers have yet to pay him the $40 million a year that he wants. Remember, he won Defensive Player of the Year in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And report says that the Steelers have not made inquiries to other teams about trading their superstar player. Chase, are the Steelers disrespecting T.J. Watt? He's been holding out. Well, he's not holding out, but he has been upset about the contract standstill, you could suggest, for about 2 months now. Myles Garrett became the highest paid defender after Max Crosby became the highest paid defender. And we know Micah Parsons is en route to becoming the highest paid defender. So T.J. Watt has watched 3 of his contemporaries at the exact same position, at minimum 2, reset and get new deals, and he's still waiting on his. He being disrespected.
It's a no for me right now. If it gets into training camp and he doesn't have a deal done, then I would say yeah. Because I think that's sort of, for both camps, at least what I'm hearing, that's sort of like the line of demarcation, right? It's like, trade me or pay me. And look, I tend to go, no, you're not being disrespected, because a lot of times we see contract situations in the NFL play out over social media, over reporters, in the court of public opinion, right? both sides are trying to gain leverage here. Like, Pittsburgh knows they probably have to pay him $40+ million. That's where he's paid now is disrespectful, but I don't think the whole contract process is being disrespectful because it's a business. You can't take it personally. You're over 30 years old. This will be your second extension with, you're one of the best, if not the best edge rusher in football. So you probably deserve more than Myles Garrett, around that $40 million number. The thing that I keep going back to is I can't imagine Pittsburgh trading him because it's sort of twofold for me. One, will another team be willing to pay the guy over $40 million a year annually? Yes. There will be teams that would want to do. There's no doubt in my mind. But if you're trading him, will the other team that signs him to a $40+ million a year contract also be willing to give up what Pittsburgh wants?
Yes.
Multiple first-round picks. I don't know if that's the case. That's a little rich for me. Now, if you're a contender and you have this money, he doesn't want to go to some team that's not a contender. I think every year Pittsburgh is a contender. So for me, I don't think they're going to trade him. I think this is just another contract dispute playing out in the court of public opinion. So I don't think it's disrespectful as long as you get something done.
It's disrespectful.
I say all that. And he leaves like, it's disrespectful.
And I was letting you finish, but I'm over here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
It is disrespectful, man. We give Coach Tomlin a lot of credit for getting to the playoffs every year, right? Or not having a losing season. And we give him a lot of credit for that. If you don't have this boy, you done had a lot of losing seasons. Because you have not hit on the quarterback play. You've been winning games strictly on defense. T.J. Watt has been the heart and soul of your team. For the last 6-7 years, he has willed y'all to 10+ wins and to the playoffs. Then you see Myles Garrett and you see Max Crosby get extensions. And you could argue that you colder than them dudes.
Yeah.
And you could argue that you mean more to your team than them dudes, because as great as those dudes are too, they teams ain't been in the playoffs and not having losing seasons and all that. They haven't. T.J. Watt is getting disrespected right now. And what are the Pittsburgh Steelers doing? Like, y'all for real, let me know. Because you go get Aaron Rodgers, you trade away George Pickens, now you're not paying T.J. Like, what are you trying to do? I'm thinking you bringing Aaron Rodgers over there saying we got a good quarterback now, we got a chance to make the playoffs. We trade for DK Metcalf, let's try to make some noise. We trade for Jonnu Smith, we trade for Jalen Ramsey. Well, I'm just going to let you know, if 90 ain't there, scratch it off. You're not going nowhere if 90's not there.
Yeah, cut that as a promo.
Because my dog Aaron Rodgers is not going to cover up all the holes that's going to be over there. It's not going to happen. And then defensively, y'all are not going to be good if you don't have a dude getting pressure on the quarterback consistently like T.J. Watt does. You're not. So your team is not going to be that good.
James, is it disrespectful to not want to make somebody the highest paid player in the history of the game of football on defense?
If you're talking about a dude that has accomplished what he has accomplished, we're talking about one of the baddest men in the world.
But is it disrespectful, or is it just like cost conscious? Like, disrespect is where he's paid now. I'm with you, Chase. $28 million.
I mean, that's absurd.
Absolutely disrespectful. 108 sacks, 33 forced fumbles, 7 interceptions. He scored on defense. That's disrespectful for him to be the 7th highest paid. But to be cautious or timid or reserved with wanting to pay him $41 million, I don't know if that's disrespectful, because here's the other thing.
I don't think
it's not like he just wants $41 million. He probably wants $40 million a year for about 4 years.
3 guarantees.
So is it disrespectful to be a little cost conscious with paying him $140 or $130 million?
But it is disrespectful when you're watching your peers get paid and you colder than them, though. And when you're watching the organization take care of them.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
But remember, like,
but it's not. But hold on, it's not like they haven't paid him, because he's still under contract. It would be disrespectful right now if he didn't have a contract and they're not willing to pay it. For tomorrow though, they could sign it. So I don't think it's not gotten to the disrespectful stage yet, just because you haven't got a deal done before training.
Right now he's not there.
Yeah.
And we all know why he's not there.
No one's there.
He want money. He just
But let me say this, though, Jay, because we also have to remember, and I go back to the Deshaun Watson deal. People are always like, man, the Browns were idiots to pay Deshaun that much money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, Deshaun paid the Cleveland Brown tax. Is the point of, one, he was really good at the time, and also he only got that much money because he was going to Cleveland. Falcons didn't offer him that. They were interested. Panthers didn't offer him that. They were interested. Colts didn't offer him that. They were interested. I say that to say.
Money, though.
They did. Yeah. But I say that to say, Max Crosby has to play for the Raiders. A Raiders team that hasn't won anything and doesn't look like they're winning anything in the immediate future. Myles Garrett has to play for the Browns. I say has to, not gets to, because if y'all remember, Myles Garrett wrote the Browns a whole letter saying he wanted out because he doesn't care about going to Canton. Leverage. He cares about going to the Super Bowl. And so Myles Garrett, but of course, but those two individuals are playing for franchises that are irrelevant as it pertains to winning Super Bowls. TJ Watt, you're playing for the Steelers. Mm-hmm. They go to the playoffs every year. So if you want to go make $40 million, you can go to the Panthers. I'm sure they'll gladly pay you.
And they'll be better.
Of course, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl there, nor are you going to be in playoff or Super Bowl contention. So to me, it's hard to compare you to other players who are playing for organizations that aren't playing for anything.
If T.J. Watt wasn't with the Steelers, they would be like that.
I don't know if I can.
Acho, you know what the Steelers are without Watt?
Talk to me.
What are they?
1-10.
You got that stat somewhere?
They 1-10, Acho. So where they going? I know where they going. They going with my Raiders, and they going with Cleveland. That's where they going.
But like,
could you imagine with the quarterbacks they had and no T.J. Watt? Come on, man. They would beat the Browns. They would beat the Raiders.
1-10.
So do you think they should have paid him?
I think they should have been gave him his money today, tomorrow, yesterday, in the evening, in the morning, all that.
I don't know what they're working on that.
Man, well, they need to work faster. Okay? Because as we sit here right now, with them being 1-10 with T.J. Watt,
well, and
us knowing the type of player T.J. Watt is, and us seeing that Myles Garrett was under contract, he got money. Max Crosby was under contract, he got money. And you over here playing with my money?
And it's not only on the field, though, and obviously we know this as players.
That's another thing.
It's the leadership aspect within the locker room. Like, he is the guy.
Come on, man. They 1-10.
You know what I mean? So they lose that as well. Disrespect is a very strong word. So,
okay. So
1-10.
So when
you fact checking them on air.
When I come in there and I say, man, you look, I want $40 million, man, because y'all see y'all really not that good without me.
1-10.
You got him quiet.
Really not that good without
me. There's nothing. Yeah, pay him. Pay him.
Come on, man.
Well, of course you got to pay him. It's not disrespectful.
No, but you got to pay him 40 now. If they 1-10,
well,
not even 1-10. 1-10.
I'm telling you, man.
Let's at least get the training.
1-10 is worse than 1-10.
10 respectful. 10x.
Jay, how bad is 1-10? Like, I know 1-10.
I was 0-10, and it was real good. You know, hey, so they one game better than us.
When we returned, the Niners weren't 1-10, but they were pretty bad last year without Christian McCaffrey. Who's more important to the Niners' success, Brock Purdy, the quarterback, or Christian McCaffrey? 1-10.
1-10, man.
Brock Purdy will have a lot of attention on him this season after signing a 5-year extension, but so will Christian McCaffrey. Missed the majority of last season. He was out in Germany doing what they do out there. I guess trying to be happy. Hey, anyway, fullback Kyle Juszczyk said CMC changes everything for the Niners, and he looks explosive right now. Chase, quarterback, be mindful. Do not sacrifice your quarterback card when you answer this question. Who's more important to the Niners' success this season? Is it the quarterback, Brock Purdy, or the running back, Christian McCaffrey?
I think this is a great question.
This is a great
And it made me think.
Think about what?
And it made me think that it's Brock Purdy. But you know, I sort of went back and forth on the drive up. I woke up at 3:30 like normal. When I get up here and I'm driving up and I'm thinking and I'm voice noting my producer calling, commuting, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we got all these questions. This is the one I thought hardest about.
Why didn't you just call your producer? Why'd you send a voice memo?
Voice memo, bro, because I'm driving, bro.
I feel you.
And he's asleep, too.
Being safe.
You know, being safe.
Understood.
Now, he's waking up. But for me, I like what Juice was saying. And CMC, for me, with this team, it changes everything. And he makes defenses change personnel groupings, change formations, how you play them. Do you get a small DB on the field? Do you go base defense? Do you go 3 linebackers? Because CMC out of the backfield's a legitimate threat. But when you really think about this, it's the quarterback, right? Who's got the ball in his hand every single snap of every single game? It's Brock Purdy. This team will go as far as Brock Purdy takes you. If they're behind, it's not CMC throwing the football to win the game. Now, he might be receiving. He's not throwing. And most NFL games come down to 1 to 2 possessions, and you want the quarterback, and the quarterback will have the ball in his hand. So you're going to go positional value, right? You're going to go quarterback. I would think everyone at this desk probably thinks quarterback. Now, I do think having CMC back helps Brock Purdy be way more successful.
Of course.
But who's more important? It will forever and always be the quarterback.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Without Christian McCaffrey, you're not going far. But without Brock Purdy, you're not going anywhere. Like, Christian McCaffrey, to me, he's the fuel in the car, but Brock Purdy is the engine. And we saw this. Niners play the Eagles, NFC Championship game, 2023 season, calendar year 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was 2022 season, calendar year 2023. Brock Purdy gets hurt, backup gets hurt, and that team did absolutely nothing. Warner was out there. Trent Williams, still out there. Kittle, out there. Ayuk, out there. Debo, out there. But so long as Purdy wasn't out there, the team was rendered useless. McCaffrey is an integral piece to this team's success. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a quarterback, especially if your quarterback is very good like Brock Purdy is, you got no shot at anything. So you're not going far, James, without CMC, but you're not even going anywhere. Carr's not even turning over without Purdy.
Yeah, this wasn't close for me, and it's Purdy. Because getting off of the bus, who you stopping? Trying to stop.
CMC,
defense.
right?
Trying to stop CMC,
Yeah, CMC,
right?
of course.
So it is going to become a point all year long to where Purdy's going to have to make plays.
Yeah.
You're going to have to throw this football without a Debo Samuels out there, without a Brandon Ayuk out there, and you're going to have to make plays. For the 49ers to have success, it is all on Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy does not ball out, I don't care who's in the backfield, they are not going to have success. And that means no playoffs, not competing in the division. They are not going to have success. The young fella has to show out. He has to ball. And like I said before, it's going to be 7-8 games to where he is really going to have to win some games with his right arm.
Let me ask you this. Is this McCaffrey's last year with the Niners to kind of dominate? Because as I'm looking at these things,
older.
He's getting older, and usually one injured year for McCaffrey begets another one. In 2020, he gets hurt with the Carolina Panthers, plays 3 games. 2021, he plays 7 games. 2022, gets hurt with the Carolina Panthers, and then he goes to the Niners, and he finishes the rest of that season there. But usually if McCaffrey gets hurt, he might get hurt again. If you're the Niners, I think McCaffrey has to not only play this year, but he has to play well if we want to continue to keep him in our plans moving forward. Because you can't be dependent on a very expensive Christian McCaffrey knowing his injury history. So, Chase, where are you at on CMC?
Look, I think CMC, as the running backs get older, right, other than if you're not Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry just keeps getting better with age, it's unbelievable. CMC, injury-prone, right? And we'll see how he handles this year coming back from injury. And knock on wood, we don't want anyone to get hurt. But it's not like the San Francisco 49ers last year had a horrible rushing offense with
Not at all.
Like the 49ers, they rushed for 2,163 yards, averaged almost 5 yards a carry, and accounted for 17 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. They ran the ball like that?
Yes. They were 7th in yards per rush, 11th
Rookie
in rushing yards per game. They averaged 127 rushing yards a game.
Yes.
Now, CMC helps take that up a notch, but how much?
Correct.
But that's the one thing that, why I looked it up, because I was interested. They didn't fall off, right? I'm not going to say it's plug and play because we saw what CMC did. CMC, where he makes the whole offense better, protection and routes out of the backfield. Like throwing the ball to him, next level. Like these option routes, these wheel routes out of the backfield. That's where I think CMC as the running back for the 49ers, that's where they separate themselves. But it's not some throwaway rush off.
Yeah, to me, CMC is the icing on the cake. He is not the cake.
Ooh.
Like CMC, Kyle Shanahan, if you go back to the days of Alfred Morris with the Washington Commanders rushing for 1,500 yards a season, if you go back to the days of even the Arian Foster system, like Kyle Shanahan's going to have the running game set. CMC's the icing on the cake. Purdy has to be great. Offensive line, a lot of questions there. They have to get better. James, wide receiver, I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. The receiver room, they're worrying me more than running back.
What was them rushing stats again?
They rushed for 2,100 rushing yards and averaged 4.7 yards per carry, 11th in rushing yards per game, 17 rushing touchdowns. 127 yards a game rushing the football is good.
How they lose? How did they make the playoffs?
Defense was terrible. And remember, they blew 3 leads at the end of the game. Ahead against the Rams, ahead against the Seahawks. There was one more team.
3 or 4 games go the opposite way.
Bro, 3 more, one possession, 3 or 4 games. Yeah. It goes the opposite way.
What happened in those one possession games?
I would blame the defense, but you could blame Brock.
But in 3 or 4 losses, it was the defense.
I would have blamed the defense. Against the Rams,
lead.
I would have blamed the defense. Against the Seahawks, I would have blamed the defense. But I'm a defender. But if you want to blame Purdy, I hear you. But I would blame the defense.
I'm just trying to figure out.
But a lot of it was there was like 10 points.
Yes, against the Seahawks, 10 points. I think 4.5 minutes left, and Seahawks go marching back in, and you blow leads. I blame defense. Defensive coordinating wasn't great. Defensive coordinator is gone. Robert Saleh's back in. But Purdy got to step up. Defense has to step up. Chris McCaffrey, just step up.
2 steps.
Be there. Hey, when we return, the NFC West. They're looking at Kyler Murray with the very team tonight. The Cardinals are. Is it a make-or-break season for the former number 1 overall pick who doesn't have a playoff win in his own right? That's next. Let's go. Kyler Murray is set to enter his 7th season as a starter in the NFL for the Arizona Cardinals, former number 1 overall pick, but he's only made 1 playoff appearance in that span. An article asked if this season is his last chance with the Arizona Cardinals. The man, formidably known as Lil Man by someone here at the desk. Kyler, it got us thinking, that article did. Is maybe this a make-or-break season for Kyler with the Arizona Cardinals? James, you live in Arizona, so what do you say?
I say no. I think Kyler Murray is going to be the quarterback of the future for the Arizona Cardinals. I think he'll be there this year. I think he'll be there next year. And after that, see where that may lay. But I think he's going to be playing for the Arizona Cardinals at least 2 more years. My thing is, though, I was sitting here looking at and thinking about this topic. Have the Arizona Cardinals...
Don't say that. Don't even finish the sentence. No, they haven't let Kyler down. Don't even finish the sentence.
They haven't?
No. Kyler's let them down. Don't even finish the sentence.
No,
he knew where he was going.
Of course, don't even finish the sentence.
No, because I'm saying, like, when you look at these Arizona Cardinals teams, have they been built the right way? Like, no, I'm asking you, like, when I look at, like,
obviously
and I'm not saying you got to be built like an Eagles team we just seen. Like, that, but like,
They've made some egregious errors. Yes, egregious errors. But I believe, one, Kyler wasted his rookie deal by being immature. Even self-admittedly, I think he wasted when he was cheap by being immature, playing the video games, not being a leader. I've talked to players inside the Arizona locker room, and I think Kyler has even admitted it himself. The reason, to me, Jay, it might be a make or break a deal. Look at his contemporaries. Look at former number 1 overall picks, number 2 overall picks. Jared Goff, he'd been to a Super Bowl. He'd been to an NFC Championship game in another team. Joe Burrow, been to a Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield, he goes to the playoffs perennially now. As weird as that sounds, you can just punch Baker's ticket into the playoffs, number 1 overall pick. Jayden Daniels, last year, number 2 overall pick. He's already made it to the playoffs. If you look at the contemporaries, number 1 overall picks, especially in this day and age, you should have done something more, Kyler.
But look at those dudes' teams, though, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Baker Mayfield. Like, with all due respect,
the division,
you're not winning. Yeah. You're in the playoffs with 9 games. When you look at Jared Goff, he's had a lot of success with a lot of all-pros.
36, 45, and 1. That's Kyler Murray's record after 6 years. 36, 45, and 1. The last 4 years, played 14 games, played 11 games, played 8 games, and last year played all 17. So not only is it not good, he be missing time, and he has 1 playoff appearance. I went to that playoff game. I was either in the same suite as the Cardinals owner or the adjacent suite, but it was glass windows. They were playing in L.A. They weren't happy. From Adrian Wilson, assistant general manager, to Keim at the time, to the Bidwell family, the owner, they weren't happy. Quarterback, it just hasn't been good at all.
Yeah, look, well, it has been good. There's been spurts. Where Kyler has played like a top 6 or 7 quarterback.
Ooh, you got to go a while back for that.
I'm just saying, there's been spurts. Even
2021, 2020.
No, last year.
Conversation early.
Last year, Acho. Did we forget last year?
I did. I forgot. I forgot.
Me. There were times where last year he looked like they got it figured out. Like, the offensive coordinator from the Browns, Drew Petzing, like, he came over. They were using a 13 personnel package, one one back, 3 tight ends, and they were doing well, but it just looked so different from Kyler playing under center, play action stuff, and eventually fizzled out. I hate to call it a make or break season for Kyler, but I do believe if stuff doesn't go as planned this year in Arizona and they don't make the playoffs and they don't show it getting better, I think you have to start preparing for life after Kyler. And you look at next year's draft. Usually the Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately, for how bad they've been, they pick pretty high in the draft. Mm-hmm. And if you just get a periscope and you look out and you see the 2026 quarterbacks that are in college, Drew Aller, Nussmeier out at LSU, Arch Manning, there's a lot of guys that could fit the mold. Now, I say could. Kyler has this year and next year guaranteed money. So what's to say if they don't play right, they don't take a flyer on a guy in the first round? We've seen it happen all the time. I think Kyler still has it in him. I'm more on your side. I don't know if they've done enough to put around Kyler. And I get what you're saying, right? There's no excuses in one playoffs. It's just hard to win in Arizona.
Why you say that? Why you say that?
Well, like, other than Kurt Warner, who's won?
Carson Palmer had a good stretch here. They went to, my brother was there for 4 years. They had 2 good
I'm just saying.
Stretches that Kyler had.
No, they won playoff games.
Okay, and I think that you have to.
Yeah, 11-5.
What?
They lost to the Panthers. NFC Championship game.
I'm just saying the Arizona Cardinals aren't in the playoffs every single year.
Look that up.
You know what I mean?
On the team, I got to look that up.
So I do think you have to start preparing for life after Kyler if things don't go this well.
That I agree.
Like, you have to. I don't know if it's a make or break.
But the reason I agree with it is there's just such a short in the NFL now. You got to win immediately, especially if you're a number 1 overall pick. What number 1 overall picks are we giving this much time to? Like, we still say, not me, but people at this desk still say Baker Mayfield sucks. And Baker has 2 playoff appeals. He's taken 2 different franchises that historically don't go to the playoffs. Yeah. He's won 2 playoff games with 2 different franchises that historically don't go to the playoffs. Meanwhile, Kyler Murray, you ain't even won your franchise a playoff game.
But that's when I think it's unfair, though, because, like I said, my man, they've been 9-8. They haven't been a good football team going to the playoffs. And only reason why I asked that question is because for a while, this NFC West division was really good.
Yes, sir.
Brutal.
That's true.
And probably out of all those teams, we probably could sit here and say the Cardinals is the only team that really ain't been really good. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about Seattle's defenses and the Niners' defenses and the Rams with Sean McVay, like, the division has been really good. That's why I say I don't necessarily know they have really, like, built the team for Kyler. You know what I'm saying?
But let me ask you this, though. Isn't that, James, a part of the number 1 overall pick tension? If you're the number 1 overall pick, you're going to a team that's really bad. So it's going to take you at least 3 to 5 years, unless you're the Chicago Bears, shout out to Ryan Poles, to make that team really good. The Bengals still aren't really good. Joe Burrow just somehow did what the heck Joe Burrow does. The Browns were never really good with Baker Mayfield. He just somehow, shout out to Kevin Stefanski, got them a playoff win. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers, top to bottom, they finally got really good by about 20.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what is this, year 7?
Yeah, going on 7.
And we ain't seen a Carolina Panthers roster that Cam Newton had when he went to the Super Bowl with Luke Kuechly and them boys, and Thomas Davis and them boys, and Josh Norman and them dudes out there. We dang sure ain't seen a Niners roster. We ain't seen a Sean McVay. Sean McVay done built this roster. Like, they've had 6-7 years to build this roster, knowing that Kyler Murray was good.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
They missed a lot.
Yeah.
And they drafted a lot of linebackers
coaches.
in the first round that just missed. You take Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson.
I'm more on your side.
Like, they just think you had 6-7 years knowing that Kyler Murray was a good quarterback, whatever you think about him, and you ain't really built a team like that for him to really go compete against the Niners that was built the right way and the Rams and them.
I won't argue with you there at all. When we return, it is time for a Blitz.
Who
would we rather have, Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow? That and so much more next in the facility.
It's over.
James, be mindful how you use that. Let's get to a Blitz meeting. Hall of Famer Randy Moss says Justin Jefferson is on pace to arguably the best wide receiver ever. Meanwhile, Jamar Chase is the one who says he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. Remember, they're former teammates together at LSU. I want to start with the wide receiver. James, best wide receiver in the league right now in your mind. If it's
right
just
now.
those 2, Chase, JJ.
I mean, what y'all say earlier? Chicken and eggs?
Chicken and eggs.
He's using it.
It doesn't apply here, but
it really doesn't.
It is Justin Jefferson, in my humble opinion. Justin Jefferson could go everywhere on the field when you talk about just total receiver, release game, route game, yards after catch, able to make people miss. I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson, but with Jamar Chase is that.
No wrong answers. No wrong answers. I've always said it's Jamar Chase.
Yes,
like, literally.
You've been a Chase guy.
Since day one, James will say. Then after Jamar Chase went for the Triple Crown, everybody's like, oh, Jamar is better. I've always thought he was better. It's just because what Jamar can do with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, oh, it's crazy.
Like, if you're talking routes, I'm with you. It's Justin Jefferson. If you're talking about line him up anywhere, slide outside Justin Jefferson. But as a defender, the dude that's harder to tackle in the open field is the dude that worries me more.
Before Chase goes, if you switched him, you think he still has the same amount of success that Justin Jefferson has with the Vikings?
With the scheme?
Probably not. Probably because I don't think what he can do as a route runner, I think Justin Jefferson.
That's why.
I think I like JJ. I like Justin Jefferson because I look at it, who would I rather throw to? Now, both of them are great. There's really no right
way to look at it.
I would rather throw to JJ. I know JJ can line up outside, inside, at the Z. I know he can work safeties. I know, and Jamar can do that.
Yeah.
And Jamar's great with the ball in his hands. But if you just overall target, I think he's got a bigger range. I don't feel like that 4th and 18 catch. Jamar Chase, I don't know if he's making that play. There's really no wrong answer. But if I'm a quarterback and I'm looking at JJ, I'm like, let's go.
There's really. Can you put anybody else in this conversation? Can you put A.J. Brown in it?
You absolutely can put A.J. Brown in the conversation.
That conversation?
Man, listen.
A.J. Brown? I mean, he liked that.
Brown.
But those two.
Now, A.J. is more like Chase
So let
than he is Justin Jefferson.
me break this down. This is the quarterback play. When you just line up at the X, what A.J. Brown does, and that DB is inside leverage, and he knows that you only got 3 routes.
Slant, go,
he thinks, because he inside, you got go, you got a curl, and you might have a little stop route. And you still getting busy? Ain't no motion, ain't no nothing. I'm right here, come on. Yeah. You know,
if you put A.J.
Brown
with
is like
Burrow or the Minnesota Vikings scheme, he might go crazy.
He gets crazy there either way. All right, moving on. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, they were ranked ahead as the 4th best quarterback in the league, according to executives and scouts. Who would you rather have, Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow? Lamar was ranked 3rd, Joe Burrow ranked 4th. Quarterback.
Lamar was 3rd, Burrow 4th.
So, Burrow 3rd.
Burrow was 3rd. No, that's what I was saying. Burrow was 3rd.
Yeah.
Lamar, I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan.
Yes, you are.
As you guys know.
Yes, you are.
But I'm gonna go Lamar here. I'm gonna go Lamar for a couple reasons. Mainly the one, Lamar can get you out of trouble in any type of pocket. Joe Burrow is really good at. Lamar can run. Yeah. And if you do that and you look at how he's changed,
I didn't expect that from
games
I like that.
With his legs, and he's a 2-time MVP. Now the playoff was right, but I think it's Lamar right now.
You know, it's crazy what a month off would do.
I don't even know what I said a couple months ago. What I be saying a couple months ago?
No, I'm saying I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. I am going Lamar too, man. I mean, and you know, as a defender, when you're able to run, and now what we watching Lamar do in the pocket, throwing the football, 2-time MVP, team always in the playoffs. I'm taking
Lamar's gotten better throwing the football through.
Correct. That's why, that's a really good point, actually. Joe Burrow hasn't gotten better as a runner, but he hasn't necessarily need to get better as a runner. Lamar was always a better runner who closed the gap as a passer. That's why I'm going with Lamar. Lamar Jackson, he's always there, too. Like, you know, Joe Burrow, these last 2 seasons have just thrown me off. You missed the playoffs last year. You're hurt 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we swept on it.
Yeah. Joe got to come on now.
Come on now.
I'm surprised. I want to know.
It's good for me, right? I look tan. I'm happy for now.